Yep.
All right. Yep. Okay. So as I had introduced earlier, so we've got Ms. Nahid Afshan. I'll quickly do a run through again. Ms. Nahid Afshan, she's the Senior Manager Admissions at Pilani, Dubai. Ayush is the entrepreneur. He'll be talking about how to start up and what happens after you do that. What is the life like once you have studied computer science and then you go for a startup? Then we have Rajdeep. He'll talk about what is like an MS today. You know, once you've graduated from computer science, and then when you do your masters, how's the life going to be like? And we have Sweekriti. She has joined Microsoft. She's going to talk about how it feels like when you're working under a big brand. And we have Sujala Shetty. She's the HOD Computer Science at Dubai campus. She's going to basically tell you about how the courses are, how is the grading like, what is the assessment like, and what are the normal feelings that a student would go through. And to detail on that, we've also got Mohammed Shoaib. He's the final year student at Pilani, Dubai campus. All right. So, guys, panelists, so that we can have a quick check, I'll leave it up to you. Can you just say a little bit, starting with Ms. Afshan, just greet the audience. I can see a lot of people who are online right now. Ms. Afshan, are you there? Okay, Ayush, let's go with you.
Hi everyone. So my name is Ayush Chordia. I graduated from Pilani Dubai campus in 2015. My major was in computer science. As Lohit was mentioning, I started a company called Wrappup right out of college. We were basically building a voice assistant for meetings. We were acquired in 2018 by a startup called Voicea, who were invested by Google, Microsoft, Cisco, and then Voicea itself was acquired by Cisco in 2019 September. So glad to be on the panel and looking forward to the discussion today.
Brilliant. Let's ask Sweekriti.
Hi everyone. Very excited to be on this panel. I graduated from Dubai in 2013. Then I did my master's in Boston, joined a small startup first, and then for the past couple of years I've been at Microsoft. So really excited to talk to you guys today.
Brilliant. Let's have Rajdeep.
Hi guys, my name is Rajiv and I graduated from Pilani Dubai in 2019. Mine was computer science and I had gone for my master's in applied statistics and data science here at Cornell University. In fact, I graduated 1 week ago. And yes, and I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to answer questions.
That's great. Congratulations, Rajdeep, on your graduation. Next up is Dr.
Thank you.
Sujala.
Yeah, hello everybody. So good morning to all of you. I'm Sujala Shetty. I'm assistant professor and currently I head the computer science department. So any queries that you all have, anything related to our courses and the structure of the courses, you all can ask your questions.
So let's start with the topic. The first topic that we're looking at is, and what we circulated a form for registration, and in that registration form we asked students to ask a question. In fact, I was surprised to see some students asking multiples at the same. Most of the questions we've structured in certain topics. So the first topic that we're going to take is course structure. People were asking what kind of courses are you teaching. So I think I'll shoot that question to Dr. Sujala Shetty, who's the HOD of computer science at Pilani Dubai campus. So ma'am, can you just quickly tell us what is the kind of course structure? What are the kind of different segmentation that students go through in computer science?
Yeah, so generally what happens is the first year is common to all students. Irrespective of whichever branch you're doing, there are a certain set of courses spread over 2 semesters. Then after your second year, there are a few core courses which have to be done, and then there are quite a few courses that every computer. So maybe something like say compilers, operating system. So these are compulsory courses. In addition to that, depending upon the interest of the student, there are a wide variety of elective courses. So it could be from humanities, it could be from say management, finance. It could be core engineering courses like say machine learning, AI, applied data science, and many different fields. So depending upon what is your interest, you could pick and choose those courses. So that when you graduate, you're graduating with more of a flavor in those courses. In fact, from last year, we've even started this minor in data science. So you could be passing out with a BE in computer science along with a minor in data science.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
In fact, being a bit myself, once you said electives, I just remembered the kind of electives we were offered. So I took mechanical engineering, but the kind of electives that I was able to take, some were obviously very closely related to mechanical, but then there were other courses which I was able to do, like print and audiovisual advertising, or there's one other course that I did was critical analysis of literature, and which was very different from anything that I had experienced earlier. So I think the structure of taking electives, because a lot of students sometimes ask, what if I want to take mechanical, but I want to do some courses of computer science? So I think that's another brilliant thing that students can do in BITS Pilani, is that they can mix up the courses from different disciplines and create a kind of unique profile for themselves. So I think that's an amazing thing. So, Shoaib, coming to you. Yeah, sure. So, which has been your most favorite course, most rigorous course? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
My most favorite course, hands down, has to be the algorithms course. I really love that course fully. It was very well explained. There were lots of very interesting topics, lots of new ideas, lots of new fundamental concepts that are very important for computer science. So the algorithms course was hands down the best course I had. The most difficult course for me was surprisingly networking, because I'm not so into networking. So it was very difficult to understand, how the packets travel over the network, how your data gets sent over, how routers work, all of these different concepts. That was pretty difficult for me to understand.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, Kriti, coming to you, I wanted to ask you, so have you started recruiting for your company yet? Do you go for recruitments?
Unfortunately, I'm not in that cool part. I'm one of the people who just sits in my table and just codes all day. But I don't. But I will never lose a chance to say Microsoft's dream company to work for. It's absolutely amazing. I love working here, and if you do want to apply, please go ahead. Definitely come in and work with us.
That's awesome. That's like a brand endorsement for Microsoft. But there's a question I want to shoot to you. Going back to your BITS Pilani days, which was your favorite course, and what did you learn? I mean, do you see any kind of relation to what you learned and the kind of application that you're doing right now in your company?
Right. Quite a bit actually. A lot of the fundamental stuff that we learned in BITS itself, including I always like the fact that we get to do shared courses, like Sujala ma'am said in the first year. I feel like that just gave us so much of a good foundational base for us to build on. Like, you may not think about it, but there's just some things that I still apply some days just because of something we learned in thermodynamics. And I'll be like, oh, hey, wait, that logic sort of applies to this problem I'm trying to solve here. Completely bizarre, but it just works out sometimes. Yeah, I mean, there's everything you learn. You don't realize it when you're learning, unfortunately. I can say this now because I've passed out for some years. But it matters. It helps. Eventually, you understand, oh, that was important. But Sujala ma'am, I was in your AI course, and that was one of my favorite electives. It was so fun. And there was number theory that I did with Preeti ma'am. That was also one of my. I like puzzles. I like numbers. So that was those were my two favorite courses.
That's awesome. So, are you saying people who love numbers are the ones who should go for computer science, or because I have always believed that computer science, in fact, there are two kinds of in colleges I've seen. So some people would just teach you. I mean, I'm obviously talking from way above because I have not really studied computer science. But people who would teach you, say, language, right? And then there is this other set of people who are amazing with algorithm. So do you see the two people, the approach to problem solving working very differently, and do you see any difference in the kind of way the course is delivered as people might have a particular problem and then
right. I always appreciated that we were very like practical in our courses. I feel like it was a lot more easy for me to like follow and apply because we had like really good examples, really good professors, of course, and it was easy to sort of correlate some stuff that we were studying and like, oh, okay, this is how it happens in real life. Like the networks thing that Shoaib just mentioned. I remember that course. Very confusing for me too, but then just couple of doubt sessions here and there, and then starts making sense. And then when you actually like have to sit and debug a relative's router, one day you will remember that course. So it's always helpful, trust me. And we do an amazing job. Like I said, I mean, with just the way our courses are structured, the way our professors are, it's always thinking ahead, thinking very practical, thinking in the workforce, how it works. Like even with our practice school programs, it's so good. We get so much of experience while still at school. So yeah. And as for like who likes computer science, I wouldn't segregate it as you need to write numbers, you need to write puzzles. Of course, that helps. That's fun. If you just like wires and you like, I don't know, bits and zeros, and if you like problem solving, I think you enjoy computer science. Yeah. Right. You like music, you like computer science. So there's so many correlations.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing, Sweekriti, the thing that you touched upon. In fact, that has given me so many questions to ask. So Saurav, why don't we go ahead and change the topic which is written below? We've moved on from course structure, and I think let's talk about in general the life. What is the life like, for the students? Now, Rajdeep, coming to you, of course you've gone ahead and did your masters in applied statistics and data science, so you must have been very interested in it. So I want to ask you what triggered that? What built your interest around it? Were you very clear that this is what you wanted to do, right after grade 12, or during the college you did some things and that drove you to do your masters in this?
Good question, Lohit. Actually, as you know, a lot of people in 12, they just like, hey, computer science looks pretty cool, so let's try doing that. Who knows what might happen? So that was me back then. But after I joined BITS and I kind of took up courses like data structures and algorithms and other courses as well, that kind of forms the basic core of computer science. When you go ahead, I kind of developed a liking towards, deriving insights from data and, making predictions and something of that sort. And that is where I developed an interest for like statistics and data science, where you're basically taking in data and deriving insights, which is also a fundamental part of computer science as well. And so after I graduated from BITS Pilani, where I learned a lot about computer science, I wanted to basically get an amalgam of backgrounds where I could also get statistics and maths as one of my strong backgrounds, because data science is a very complex field where you have to have good understanding of mathematics, statistics, and computer science.
Correct.
So that's what paved the path for me.
Okay, so going very candid here, when after I graduated from BITS, I thought it's time to make money now. I just can't have more studies to be doing that. So I have respect for people who spend like 3, 4, 5 years getting an expertise in a particular topic, and then obviously it makes a lot of sense because then they are able to create the products which otherwise would have been very difficult. Coming to next point, bringing in Ayush, and since I've already talked about money, so nowadays it has become very interesting because you can make quick bucks provided you're lucky and you worked hard. Sort of bring in Ayush. I want to see that smile. Yeah. So nowadays, what's happening is stuff. I think it started around 2010, 2011 when entrepreneurship became a buzzword in India. And obviously, we're talking about Dubai here. But what was the time, Ayush, when entrepreneurship kicked off in Dubai? Was it the same time or was it earlier?
I think Dubai was slightly late in terms of, the entrepreneurship boom compared to India. Something around about 2014, 2013, companies like Careem, which is like the Uber equivalent of Middle East. You have Souk. So there were a couple of exits around the region, which really sort of catapult the region and make sure that, entrepreneurship is a viable sort of option going forward. So now I think the ecosystem is a lot more sophisticated, a lot more, and there's a lot more money in the market. There's a lot more VCs out there. Basic exits basically define the region. So we had a couple of big exits. The bigger one being the Kareem, acquired by Uber just about a year ago. And so those acquisitions basically put Middle East on the map, and especially Dubai on the map. And so Dubai is just this melting pot of talent. You have talent from all over the world coming in, and there's incredible support from the local government, the banking sector, the enterprise customers. So I think it's a great place to start a company if something that interests you.
Great. So I want to trace back a little, and obviously, so one thing which I completely believe is that if you really want to make a lot of money, starting up is the best way. Even if you fail, at least you can start up 3-4 times and figure it out. But now I want to connect that to computer science and ask you: do you think because right now all the solutions are obviously technology backed, so do you think it's more probable that if a student has taken computer science, it becomes easier for him to look at a startup? Because look at any of the companies which are coming up now and having a good exit, like all the companies that you named just now, all of them have been actually technology companies. Even if a company is there which is whose sector is food, it has to be backed with technology and a unique technology on that, right? Mm-hmm. So do you think taking computer science makes your chances a little higher? Or I'll keep it open-ended. Do you think computer science has any relation to who starts up?
So I think if you look back at the actual success of a startup or what goes in building a startup, right? Technology is, I think, a big part of it. That is going to be a major differentiator, but there is more than the technology itself, right? There's the product piece, the actual user experience, the sales side of things, the marketing, right? So all these different engines have to work together and work in collaboration to build a successful product and get to a successful exit at the end, right? My background is heavy in machine learning and technology, and so a lot of the components that we built earlier at Wrappup, at my startup, were built by me personally. I've always been a technology enthusiast, but at the same time, a couple of the things that I learned in college were, I think, very extremely helpful when I started off my company, right? I was very interested in finance, accounting, economics, right? And so I think those super critical and very core kind of skills that you need when you're probably building your own company out, right? You need to understand cash flow, you need to understand sales cycles, you need to understand economics for your users, right? And so I think it's a combination of both. I can't say computer science is just one skill that I can attribute to success, but it was certainly a helpful factor for me personally, bring a very unique skill set to the table.
Correct. In fact, I was reading an article day before yesterday that another Bitsin has joined the unicorn club in India. Now there are 3 unicorns from Pilani, India. Now that's a huge number. One college producing these many unicorns. For grade 12 audience who might not know what unicorn is what you aspire to be, when you started up. So $1 billion valuation is what you're looking for. So Big Basket is one, and the latest one was, I think, Postman. So Ayush, going back to your college life, what prompted you to start up? Were you very clear right from the start that you want to start up, or something happened in college that triggered that?
So I started a company, I think, right in my final year of college. Entrepreneurship always sort of excited me. Building a product out, scaling it, building something from the ground up and creating value was something that was always of interest to me personally. And so I built a company. I was trying to build a company right in my final year of college. And I think it was a great learning experience, trying to understand what it takes to actually build a successful company. And so, that was what sort of, prompted me. I still call myself an accidental entrepreneur. When we started Wrappup, I met my co-founders at a hackathon, right? We were not looking to form a company. We just went to a hackathon, we won the hackathon, and that's how our company started. So it's a very sort of serendipitous story, but I think the building blocks for what led to us being successful and having exit were laid during my college days personally.
Right. Steve pointed out a very interesting thing that, even if you're into music, you need computer science. Even if you're into painting, you need computer science now to be able to create amazing solutions, which is so true, because if you see from 90s onwards, the kind of solution that have come even in art or even in something like food, the kind of amazing solutions that have come and create a dent in the industry have actually been backed with a lot of technology. Another thing that I wanted to ask about is that during my time in college, there was this joke going around that in India people do engineering to figure out what do they want to do in life, you know, which I think has changed a little bit now, and especially abroad. Obviously, people choose very carefully what do they want to do because they've somehow figured out what they would want to do even further than that. So, hence this particular topic where we'll explore what are the three options, and that can give more data to students to choose from. All right, Dr. Sujala, can you hear me now? Any chance?
Yeah, a little.
If
Maybe
not,
you
then
can
I'll direct my question to one
just
of.
say something, Lohit. No, now I can't hear you.
Okay, let me direct the question directly to Swikriti now. I think there's some
Okay.
lag. All right. So Swikriti, when you were doing your graduation at BPDC, were you guys preparing for and what are the kind of companies that came to your campus? How many people normally got placed? What were the general placement scenario like, and how many people wanted to go for higher ed and then startup? Do you have any kind of numbers there?
Right. I unfortunately do not know of the exact numbers. I have a bad memory on exactly how many which companies and how many, but we did have quite a few because I do know a lot of my batchmates and colleagues. My batchmates have actually got placed right out of school, so they didn't. But there was quite a few of us also who decided to do our masters. We also had a good mix. We get an option that they work first and then decide to do an MBA or a master's, depending on what they feel like doing. So all those options are again always open. And when you're in BPDC, you get those same good options too. I decided to go ahead and do my master's and then work. So again, completely open, all the options.
And what is the placement process like in BPDC? So in fact, I know a bit about that because when I was discussing it with Ms. Afshan, who's the senior manager of admissions at BPDC, what she mentioned right now is that people who take admission in Pilani Dubai campus, it's a win-win because they get the platform of Dubai to get placed, and also they get the platform with BITS India campuses too. So if they want to come back to India and get a placement here, they get to choose that also. Of course, they'll have to then compete with all the other students here, but then it's a win-win because you get both the platforms, right? So for computer science, especially because I have a lot of friends who have done the masters, and when they were looking for a job, I could see for mechanical it was very simple to get placed, right? People would come in, it will be majorly an HR interview. If you are very confident and if you can show that you can manage stuff, you would get placed. But for computer science, it's a very technical test. I think the other soft skills don't matter as much as your technical skills do. So how do you guys prepare for those kind of entrances? Because normally people's dream companies would be like Google or Facebook or Apple or Microsoft and others. So how do you prepare for those kind of exams?
Sure. I mean, like all of the courses that you take by default prepare you for the questions you'd be expecting. So all of the computer science courses, especially third and fourth year courses, everything you learn there is usually what come up in the interview questions, which is really awesome. And and of course they are technical, so it's to test your skill to see how good your fundamentals are and how your basics are. I think Shoaib would also be a great person to ask this question since he's been in this and he's a lot more in touch with the recent details and numbers. So, but from when I did it, it's a lot of technical interviews, and to study, you basically just go back and revise everything you learned in third and fourth year. So yeah, you should direct it to Shoaib now. Yeah.
Correct. So let's bring Shoaib now. Shoaib, so you know my question. So can you answer that?
Yep. All right. I think in terms of, just to confirm, are you talking about getting placed? What do you need to know?
Yeah, I mean, what's the kind of process like? Do you get support from the campus? How do you prepare for the exam? Because obviously you've done your courses, but what apart from that is required to ensure that you get placed in a good company, in your dream company? And what process by the way in Pilani?
Sure. I'll first answer the question about how you prepare for these coding interviews. So as Swikriti mentioned, most of the courses that we learn in Pilani, they prepare you for these coding interviews. But I feel like in terms of the big tech companies, all the big companies like Google, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, all of these companies, they have a whole hiring process. And the hiring process consists of mainly 3 phases. The first phase is a coding interview. So for the coding interview, you really need to have a firm grasp on algorithms. You really need to prepare well for algorithms, know all the data structures, and they won't give you the questions directly. They will give you a variation of the question, but you need to apply those concepts. Those concepts are very important. The second phase involves a logical test. So you're given simple equations and you need to figure out, there's some logical equations and you need to figure out what's the logic behind this question. So they're mostly mathematical based and logical based. And finally, the third phase comes a behavioral interview. And in the behavioral interview, you are asked about real life scenarios. Say you're working in XYZ company and you're given a situation wherein your coworker is not working very well, or he's not feeling okay. How would you handle this situation? So this just really depends on yourself. It depends on your past experiences. I don't really think there's a way to prepare for this. But for the first two, you can definitely prepare. You can learn the algorithms, different algorithms and structures. You can have a basic understanding of mathematical foundations, go through a variety of books, and hopefully that should be enough to prepare you for your coding interview. Coming to the second question.
Very, very nicely detailed, Shoaib. First of all, I'd like to say that. I mean, I think it's a very valuable insight to all the students who are going to go in, because now they know what they need to keep in mind. Okay, so Shoaib, what is the kind of process for people?
My audio is all right now. I mean, later if needed, you can come back.
Yes, Dr. Sujala, I can hear you now. So right after Shoaib, I'll come back to you. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So now how the hiring process in BITS is like. So BITS mainly has 2 internships. One internship you get in second year, which is for 2 months. And there's another internship, which is in your final year, and that's for 6 months. So you have a variety of options in BITS. You have many different companies. For your second year, you get to apply to India, you get to apply to UAE, and all of those lists of companies are available. You can apply to all of them, and it's mainly, you get selected based on your credentials. Whether you have a good GPA, whether you have some past experiences, whether you have built up many projects. So all of these factors play a big role into the company that you get. And in your final year, you have a 6-month internship. Even that also has the same rules. They mainly select you based on your credentials, past experiences, and
aspire to go for their masters. So many of them plan on going either to the US, Europe. Nowadays, we even have some students who prefer, say, going to India also. Like they give the GATE exam, CAT, where they can do either their ME or maybe MBA in India. So these are some of the options, but maybe we can still say about 75% of the students would still be looking for jobs, and they would be applying to these interviews. And nowadays, even some students, like I think Nahid mentioned, they are open to, or the platform is open for them to even go and compete in Indian campuses. So when companies come to the Indian campuses, our students also send their CVs, and if they are shortlisted, then they are also called for the interview. So we've had a couple of students who were even placed in India to this mode. And lots of universities have now shifted to this online mode. So during the last year, we've had a platform which was called Impartis. And this is, I think some of you may be aware that the BITS has this work integrated learning program. So it is generally for working people. So that has been going on. Quite a few of our faculty have been involved in these courses. So we conduct courses completely on the online platform. Exams are conducted online. So students generally come to some designated exam locations and give the paper. But this time, because of this unusual pandemic situation, courses were conducted online. Then we even had exams that we just finished last week. So even the exams, we went on to a platform which was called the Code Tantla. It's a startup based in Hyderabad. So completely the question paper could be set there. Everything could be randomized. Questions are randomized. Options are randomized. And then we did it as close to a physical presence. So we monitored students by using, they had to switch on their cameras and connect to Google Meet. And then submission was done online, evaluation was done online. And we generally share the marks. The students go through the paper. They have any kind of a doubt, come back. Like, if they've been some marks twice, so generally it's a very transparent process. So all this was completely done online. and now we've even started finishing with the grading.
I would like to add how Dubai has responded to this COVID outbreak. With speed responded, we have been able to contain this outbreak very, very effectively and mitigate the repercussions. In fact, the recovery rate is at almost 64% now, as compared to the entire world, which is just about 46%. And even the death rate is just about 0.7% in UAE. So this gives us hope that we will be able to probably get back to live classes by September 1st in UAE.
Right. That's something that I've been reading about also, that UAE has been quite safe. Otherwise also, and during COVID also, the response has been quite prompt. And in fact, as far as I also know, that Pilani Dubai was actually, when the students were not able to go back, Pilani Dubai actually had the students comfortable at their hostel. I can see a lot of questions coming in, Ms. Afshan. So I'd like you to just answer some of them right now. Claire Fazil is asking, do you have any specializations on robotics and AI?
We have open electives as well as discipline-related electives, which are for the students. What we mean by electives are courses of students' choice. So a student gets to study courses his or her choice, and artificial intelligence, robotics are some of the most popular electives opted by our students. So if you have an interest in any of these disciplines, you can go ahead and take it. And in fact, even during this COVID situation, we have a library, and students still have access to several titles related to AI, computer programming, machine learning, and over 700 titles are available for students to access even at this time remotely staying at home. Students can definitely pursue their interest in these subjects.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Another question for you. In fact, you are the best person to answer this question, and a lot of students have been asking, is something related to admission procedure and what is the fees like. So I think fees is going to be a very detailed thing, because I know a little bit about it. There are multiple components. So what also, students, what I'd like to say at this point is that the link which is given to you on YouTube in the description, if you click on it, and if you're interested to know about the scholarship exam by Pilani Dubai campus, where you can earn a scholarship up to 10.6 lakhs in Indian rupees, and you can also remain updated about the deadlines for application, etc. You can click on that, and there are 3 options you can choose out of this. What are you interested in? You want to know about the scholarship exam, you want to know about the admission process. So go to this particular link, and if you're interested, then you can fill this up, and the team will get back to you with relevant information. And if any of your questions are not answered during this live session, the team will get back to you with a detailed answer to your question. So do ensure that you put up your details on that particular link so that we can reach out to you, because there is a scholarship exam which is going to come up this particular week, which will also have multiple benefits apart from the application to a Pilani brand. Now, coming to the admission process. Yes, ma'am.
Computer science is a 4-year engineering degree program. We call it Bachelor of Engineering in Computer Science. And this has been offered in Dubai campus since the year 2000. And I would say it has the highest number of applicants and the most consistent in terms of demand. The minimum eligibility requirement to apply for computer science is 60% overall aggregate in the grade 12 examination. Our admissions are completely based on merit of grade 12 examination and availability of seats. So we do not have any entrance examination or an admission test. Since we cater to students from all over the globe, we just go by the recognized school boards, be it the Indian C or state board, or we also look into IB boards, A-levels from UK, plus many other higher secondary boards from different countries, international boards which are recognized by their country. So admissions are completely based on the result you get, your performance in these grade 12 examinations. So if you have a minimum of 60%, you're eligible to apply. And this is the most sought after discipline. I've already told you. We have about 150 seats available, and already we have got applications 4 times this number. We have already received this academic year admission 2020. So if anybody is interested, I urge you to kindly go ahead and apply as early as possible, preferably before 18 June, because we also have an option of securing provisional admission and an option to also do a fast track online course in the month of July. It's a summer course which is being offered absolutely free to all the meritorious students who are seeking for provisional admission before 18 June. So if you've not applied as yet, kindly go ahead and do it as early as possible because the seats are getting full very, very fast.
I think that's a very useful information. Thank you. There's one more question which a lot of students are asking, like Alok and many others have been asking. Is this academic year going to start as usual or any delay due to the pandemic?
That's a good question. We have been getting this from different students. We intend to start this academic year on 1st September. We have published in our prospectus on August, but we plan to delay it by a week just in case we have any visa delays. So we are intending to start the program on 1st September. Hopefully the international travel should be up and about by then because we made up to start very early now. We have already started with our regular working hours. So hopefully we will start on 1st September just in case, God forbid, if the travel has not yet started, still we will start with our online classes. So the academic year for this 2020 begins on 1st September 2020, so you all can apply and get your admissions on time.
Right. So I think that's a good point because then there is some amount of surety on when it's going to start. All right. So great. I can see many more questions coming in. Most of the questions are like, what are the efforts required from student side from curriculum to excel in the subject, which we've already taken up. But I think if you have guys, if you have any specific questions and you want to shoot a question specifically to somebody, please write on that form. And if not, if we cannot cover it in this particular session because the time is almost up, we'll send an email to you with a response there. All right. Sponsored research work. So Manohar is asking about sponsored research work.
Lohit, should we talk about scholarship?
Yeah, sure. Ms. Nahid, you can go ahead for the scholarship also. Yeah.
I'm sorry for interrupting, but I just thought I should talk about scholarship. Scholarships available under different categories and all mentioned in the bulletin. You may kindly go to the bulletin on our website and have a look. I would just like to give you an example. We have scholarships based on grade 12 examination. We have based on BITSAT score. We have based on PBISE examinations. So if you have a very good, if you have any aggregate above 80% in the grade 12, you have a BITSAT score of about 150. And if you have PBISE rank among the 1,000, then you are sure to get a scholarship. And I would like to add that you can combine two scholarships for the first year, provided it does not exceed over 50% of the scholarship of that year. So we have scholarships ranging from 15% to 75%.
That's awesome. So that's a good amount of incentive to meritorious students. All right. Manohar is asking about the research work, sponsored research work. So who would want to take that up?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear Dr. Sujala. So I think, yeah, so let me bring that question to Dr. Sujala. Dr. Sujala, what is the kind of research work that's going on and how can students benefit out of it?
Okay, so now BITS is like slowly moving from being just a purely teaching institute to a lot of research that is happening. So there is a lot of research focus that happens now. In fact, even the UAE government now comes up with a lot of proposals which are open to apply. So there have been a lot of instances where we have applied for funded research. And in many cases, it could be some small part of the work that a company is actually looking for a solution to. So in that case, they then outsource this work. And then as a team, we in college work on a specific idea. So this is always something that is good because we have a good number of on-campus research scholars also now. So it is something that our research scholars, we have a master's program that's going on. Plus, for even undergrad students who have more of inclination towards research, these are some things that they could be associated with faculty.
Right. Also, there is practice school program, which is a very famous program of Pilani, where there's an internship which is offered by the college for 2 months after second year and for 6 months in the fourth year. So, which kind of companies are associated in practice school program for Pilani Dubai campus?
So I think practice school in the end of that is practice school 1, that's the end of second year, that could be a general company that is used just for a student to have a kind of a flavor. of how it is actually to be working as a working profession. But in their final year, either in the first or the second semester, they're doing complete 5.5 months of only PS. So that is generally going to be something that is very much associated with the field. So somebody from maybe civil would be working in maybe a construction company, mechanical could be working in companies associated with this. Our students from computer science generally work with IT companies.
So which are the most famous, which are the most preferred computer science companies that they look for in fourth year?
We now have PwC here, so that is quite a sought after company. We have Emerson is there. We have MSD, which is into healthcare, that is available. There is ESRI, which is into a lot of geoinformatics. So these are some of the companies that students look to. Siemens is there. So these are some of the sought after companies.
That's amazing. So I'm trying to see more questions, and there are questions related to biotech, mechanical. So guys, I'd like to say at this point that we are going to have a similar session, with lesser glitches, I hope, in coming Sundays. We're going to pick up more different other streams, and we'll have a similar session for mechanical, similar session for electronics. So you'll be able to direct all those questions during those sessions. But it's very important that you fill that particular form, which is in the description, and tell us your preferences. In fact, one option there is that I'd want to attend a similar session for a different stream. So you can go for that also. Now bring the panel in, Saurabh, the whole panel in. Let's make this discussion a little more fun. So this, I want to shoot this question especially to the ones who studied in Pilani Dubai campus. You know, in short, can you tell me which was your very memorable moment in on campus? It doesn't have to be very academic in nature. You can just tell me what has been your most memorable, moment on campus.
Are we going in an order, or?
We can start. Sweekriti, let's go with you.
Yeah, I had to ask. For me, I lived in the hostel, so hostel 4 p.m. is tea time. So everyone, that was always memorable because you're done with classes, you grab a cup of chai, and you sit outside if the weather is nice, or sit inside, catch up with everyone. That was always fun. Good chats. We used to have then all the extracurricular stuff. So quiz club, music club, playing with my band. That was always memorable, always super fun.
And you mentioned that, right? You are into keyboard and you play keyboard.
Yeah, we did. We have a really awesome music club. Yeah, so we have lots of fun, lots of good events, cultural events. And I think Shoaib can confirm this for me. He did mention now we have beds, but after school, after classes are done, the slopes is the next best hangout of BPDC, where everybody sits waiting for buses, which now we have benches, it looks like. So yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
That's awesome. Ayush, what about you? Your moments? Apart from winning the hackathon.
I think the late nights. I think I was part of the hostel as well, and I think the best time I had was just the late nights, staying in the hostels. We loved playing on the LAN there. I remember playing the Counter-Strike on our LAN days.
So I'd like to say that it was similar to what Ayush and Sweekriti said about the hostel nights, because I was also a student in the hostel, and the late nights in hostel, and not going to classes. I want to apologize to Sujala ma'am as well. I missed a lot of classes actually. So thank you for supporting me, and as well, I was also very much involved with sports and music as well. So there were a lot of events where we had hostel weeks and we had this big sports festival. So a lot of events where I could participate, and those were also very memorable.
So for me, I think the most memorable moments are probably all the stupid stuff me and my friends did. We did a bunch of stupid stuff and bits, but then it leaves a memory in your brain, which you just remember the entire time. So for example, some of the things that we used to do was go into the computer science lab and just play a bunch of games on the computers when we were free. Sorry, mom, we use the computers for gaming purposes. And the other things, we just used to go to the canteen, play cards, just move around the chairs, just do a bunch of stupid stuff. I think that was probably the most memorable moments that I had in bits.
That's awesome. Okay. I didn't get his feed, but I hope everyone else got. Okay, so now wrapping up the session. I could see his expressions, and that speaks a lot. I can see how much fun he's having in Dubai. So great. So now wrapping up the session with a quick question. In just 30 seconds, I want all of you, in fact, with your perspective, to guide the grade 12 students. So not just guide, in fact, say your mind on who do you think is best suited for computer science, and I'm hoping to get very varied kind of answers, because everybody has a very different experience, right? When Miss Nahid would speak probably from the fact that she's been seeing a lot of different kind of students apply and then perform also, right? So she'd be able to bring that perspective. So which kind of student do you think is best suited for computer science in 30 seconds? Let's start with Swikriti.
If you enjoy solving problems, you enjoy tackling like all different sorts of issues, you enjoy languages, I guess, you enjoy learning different things, because I feel like I may have studied maybe 1 or 2 languages in school, but once I started working, I had to learn like a bunch of different things and a bunch of different software. But that's the life of an engineer. I think you keep having to learn things on your feet. So yeah, if you enjoy that kind of stuff, you enjoy having fun. I think it's a really fun field. It's very varied. You can do gaming, you can do animation, you can just write mobile apps, you can make websites. I mean, it's really vast. It's not really like, and even now there's like so much to do. There's AI, there's VR, there's so much happening. So yeah, if you want to have fun, come to computer science.
I just love the vibe Swikriti has. So she is into gaming. In fact, when I asked her what are you doing just now, it's night time for her, and she's playing all these games which I've never heard of. It's amazing. And then she plays keyboard, and then she plays bass. Amazing, Swikriti. Amazing vibe. In fact, what you said is, if people have been doing languages in grade 11, well, but there are some questions which are coming in where students are asking that, what if I'm not great or I've not studied computer science well in grade 11, 12? Because, people prepare for their entrance exam, so they neglect a certain subject. So if they've not done computer science well, can they still take up computer science provided they've, qualified for it? And then is there a drawback to it? Will they be able to compete with all the other guys who've done well in computer science?
Got it. Yeah, no, there were a bunch of people in my batch, I remember, who'd not done any computer science in 11th and 12th. Like Nahid ma'am and Sujala ma'am mentioned earlier, just the way the course structure is in BITS, you don't have to worry about that, because in the first 2 years, you'll be learning all the fundamentals the same as everyone else. So you'll be brought up to pace. You'll be able to catch up with everyone and even do better. I mean, I've seen people excel so much more than, when they had no knowledge in the first year. So yeah, I mean, it's you will not feel left behind. You'll get to learn with everyone. It's the same pace. And like Nahid ma'am mentioned, there's tons of books, tons of material online that you can also use to sort of keep yourself educated. Yep.
That's very reassuring. All right, going to next, Rajdeep.
So I'd like to say, if anybody wants to do computer science, as Swikriti said, that's somebody who likes to tackle problems, who likes to solve challenges, and who likes to do something that requires analytical sense as well. But also, it kind of is like subjective in a manner, like computer science is a very branch field, right? And there are a lot of things that you can do in computer science. Somebody might like making websites, somebody can do like making apps. A lot of people like to work on the server and they want to like build data infrastructure or the pipelines. Some people like me who try to pursue something else, like in data science, where you kind of like use complex models to make predictions and help different business functions of a company. That could be another part. Some people also like cybersecurity, where they like looking up how companies protect their own servers from malware attacks and cyber attacks, or they are involved in decryption of messages that could be sent from, say, A to B without anybody intercepting it. So that could be one potential interest. Some might be interested in gaming as well and designing gaming infrastructure as well. So it's a very branch field, and it's very attractive, very desirable for people across the world. And if you're interested in any of those, then you should go for computer science, I feel.
Right. So what I'm hearing is one, that if you like to solve problem, and two, if you are good with quant. So that's what I've heard till now. Also, Rajdeep, before I let you go, I should thank you because you were probably the only one who was laughing at my jokes. So thank you for all the encouragement that you gave. All right, bringing in Ayush now. Ayush, who do you think is best suited to opt for computer science?
I think, what Srikruti and Rajdi mentioned, problem solving is a big, aspect of it. But I think the other aspect of it is just that you're enamored by technology. You like to, you see a problem, and I think technology is going to embed in every part of our life right now. And I wouldn't be surprised in the next 5 years, coding is the essential skill to have, right? A lot of processes are getting automated. A lot of things are moving online. So I think, generally, if you enjoy technology, you're enamored by it, it's something you're passionate about, I think you'll enjoy computer science, right? There's a whole, the computer science coding side of things, but on the other hand as well, you can have hardcore data infrastructure or machine learning, robotics, computer vision, NLP, right? Each of them require, very, very different skills. At the same time, niche skill of that particular domain, but I think the bottom line, or the base for that, is that you generally are passionate about that problem. You are hungry and eager to learn skills, and as long as I think you take put in the right attitude and you have the right sort of hunger for it, I think you'll excel in computer science.
Correct. In fact, yeah, that's a very interesting point. I think going ahead, everybody needs to have analytics as a base, right? Because any kind of problem that you're solving, even if it's an entertainment industry or any other industry, analytics is very important. So irrespective of whichever stream you choose, problem solving, what I'm hearing, is the basic skill set that you need to have to be able to move ahead in a successful way. But now probably one should take computer science if they really want to create a solution themselves in the domain. But otherwise, so even if you're also taking mechanical engineering, now you can pair it up with certain courses of computer science, and then have a overall view maybe on how to develop a product. But then ultimately you'll have to go to somebody who's really experienced in that particular domain. So
and it's not something that I have colleagues I work with, I have people I've worked with in the past who have absolutely no computer science experience, even in the undergrad, right? Yeah. They did mechanical or electronics communication in the undergrad and ended up being masters in computer science, or people who have absolutely no computer science background at all. They were in liberal arts, they studied economics in the undergrad in their masters, and now do machine learning. I think that's a skill that you can acquire at any point of time, as long as you have the intention to learn. It's with the democratization of knowledge right now, you have all this kinds of online courses. You have Coursera, EDX. Most big universities have their courses online. It's something that you can really easily pick up. There's enough resources out there, and so I think there's no sort of barriers to entry anymore. So I think and I think it'll go and improve a lot more in the next coming years.
That's a very good point. There is very few entry barriers now. So in fact, if you want to take courses, you want to enhance, once you've taken it also, and you're not able to get something at that point, internet is available. All right.